Oh no. Oh. Ooh. Y'all like looking at that blank wall? I got these glasses on. You know I can't see nothing y'all right. I'm gonna have to take them off. Let me see if I can use this. Come on now. What are you doing? Oh, here you go. What's up with this? How's this one? Hold on, man. What's going on here? Is this me?
Hey Andy, I'm Jeremiah Brent, and I'm here in Park City with Range Rover, and I'm going to show you guys how thoughtful design could create the perfect mountain escape.
Is this me?
Hey Andy, I'm Jeremiah Brent, and I'm here in Park City.
Okay. Listen, I put up a lot of some videos. How many people here? It don't make no difference. I don't really care, right? I'm using these lives instead of a vlog. So I put up a few videos recently from some work that I did in an apartment complex in Metro Detroit recently, and as I go through the comments on my channel, I always it's almost always happens that somebody says or comments what I can do and what I can't do and how I was wrong and all this other nonsense that sometimes people be talking. So let's talk about like apartment security in Michigan, because I don't really have any video from apartment security that I did in Georgia. Uh, Listen, in Michigan, there's no laws that allow you to do a lot of things. Like you can't do anything about misdemeanors in Michigan as a private citizen or security. And security, you're working primarily as a private citizen with some authority for the property that was given by the property owner. Um, and so let's just talk about you. Let me start over. Listen, by the time a property gets a general no loitering policy, they don't want you loitering. They don't want you standing out in the parking lot or standing on the sidewalk. They don't really want you sitting in cars. It doesn't make a difference that you live there. They put this policy in place because they've had problems. Uh, they need to put this policy in place for noise abatement because people are just hanging out being loud and I don't want to say necessarily rowdy, but let's just say loud. There's drug usage. There's drug sales. I mean, selling, somebody parking, selling drugs out their car. That's nothing new. People leaving their house going to smoke weed in the car. That's nothing new. And so those policies are in place to kind of curtail that and remedy that. Um, so stop telling me that I was wrong and you should let somebody sit here or you should let somebody do this, because there's a general no loitering policy on the property. And that's why, you know, I'm saying something to you about it, because the property has had prior problems. Um, and so it's just my responsibility to tell you now it's a policy. Can I enforce that policy? Well, actually, no. Not even in Georgia would I be able to enforce a policy. It's not a law. You know, you can inform them of the policy. You can talk about it. I'm not going to spend no more than 5-10 minutes doing it. And then I can just write you up and then I give it to management. And then I'm kind of done with it. And in this latest set of videos, you're going to see some drunk and disorderly people, and how me and somebody else, because it was a two-man post and you always had to work with a partner, uh, handle these situations. But, stop telling me that I can't do things. I mean, like one guy, well, you can't build cases. I mean, like, listen, if the police can sit there and surveil you, and they could collect evidence and say, I can sit there and surveil you and collect the same evidence, yet the police are building the case, what am I doing? Well, I'm doing the exact same thing. They have a different kind of authority to arrest you and take you to the prosecutor, based on the evidence that they collected, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I can't arrest you and take you to the prosecutor, right? I'll just take, for liability concerns, I'll just take that evidence to the prosecutor, and he can decide to move forward, or she can decide to move forward with it if they want to. But we're doing the exact same things. We just don't have the exact same authority. They built the case, I built the case. They can just take it to the prosecutor, and the prosecutor will definitely act upon it. They can arrest you and all that. And to me, I'm not going to arrest you. It's too much liability. But stop telling me I can't do those things. And apartment security is got to be about the most dangerous security that you can do anyway, because people are in their houses, and there's all kind of vantage points that people could take shots from you, take shots at you from. It's a semi law enforcement position more than anything else that you will ever do, whether it's asset protection, retail security. Apartment security is more like law enforcement, patrol officers, than anything else that you will ever do. And then finally, I think I'm just going to say, listen, the reason why I constantly reject security guard and security, because security never does what I do. When you say security, people have an image in their mind that this person doesn't do anything, that they don't have the ability to do anything. And then I tell people, well, I'm not a security guard because they don't know anything. So if I'm security, I'm a security officer because I know things, because security guards don't read statutes and case law and none of that stuff. And I did all of those things. Stop telling me that I'm wearing my equipment because, I'm a wannabe cop. I keep saying I brought this equipment, this particular equipment, because yes, the police use it. It's very durable. I should have it for the rest of my career, because I don't get in that half the problems that, the police have got to deal with. So I shouldn't have any problems. This stuff should last me once I buy it until I stop doing security, which it has. I mean, be honest with you. And, and stop telling me that I got rejected, because you people never know what the fuck you're talking about anyway. And that's basically, all I really got to say. I seen some video yesterday of a guy, security, and I guess it was an apartment building, and he walked in, and he's trying to tell people that they need to go into their apartments, and he didn't tell them that there was a general no loitering policy in the hallways and the common areas. He's calling the supervisor. He's got on an Axon 3 camera, good for the security company. Because, this is the kind of guy who doesn't know anything, who believes what the security company tells him and doesn't know anything else. And that's the kind of problem, that's the kind of person that you have a problem from. If you to just approach those people and say, hey, listen, there's a general no loitering policy on this property. So you really just can't hang out in the hallways like that. It's not permissible. Uh, they're not recognizing who he is because I think he came from another property and he's saying they got like joint something, whatever. I don't know what the fuck. And if you explained it to them, then they still didn't want to go in. There ain't really nothing he can do. He just whips out his pen and paper, writes up a little report because it's a policy, not a law. Uh, and then he just needed to walk away instead of, just engaging with them like that. So, and I got a video up there where I'm telling some woman that there's a general no loitering policy, and she's not feeling it. But the policy is what the policy is, and she simply could have gotten her car and left the property and done whatever, or she could have done something else. But she wasn't allowed just to sit out there by the management office with her boyfriend, who she called, who wasn't at the fracas, and he came out of his apartment. He had a gun in his pocket. He had a revolver, actually, and so. And I want you to notice that I didn't flip out, because I know security officers who would have called the police on the dude, and they would have figured out whether or not that gun was lawful for him to possess. Now in Michigan, you don't have to have a license to carry a gun if it's viewable. It's open carry in Michigan. If you want to conceal it, you need a license, a concealed license in Michigan. If you get in your car with that gun and you don't have a concealed license, they consider, the gun in the car as be concealed. So you'll get arrested for that, but you can walk around it. But he had it in his pocket, so that would be considered, concealed. Even though I could see it, but it was still concealed. It was a bad decision on his behalf because it wasn't holstered. That's one thing. If he didn't have a permit, I think a lot of people that lived in that particular complex were on Section 8, but it goes to Section 8 if he had it. He gets arrested, he loses his job, He gets arrested, he doesn't make it to his job, so he may lose his job if he can't bail out. And then he's got a whole host of other problems from this one bad decision that he made to bring this gun out and put it in his pocket for some shit that he probably shouldn't have brought it out for. So just, dude, just go on in the house, take that gun back in the house. And I just informed security. I didn't even inform management about it. I just told the security company so all the other security officers would know, where this guy lived and that he actually had a firearm and it might be a point of concern. And then, let him get on with his life. But yeah, there's some videos coming from that apartment complex. And, one of them will show you why you don't want to be drunk, why you don't want to be like really, really drunk. And it's just not a good look. It's not a good look. You're really, really vulnerable when you're really that kind of drunk. And you should not ever be like that. Okay, so I'm done now. Okay, so what are we talking about here? How is this working out? But I don't care what you want, off-road, high intensity. That's the other thing. Like y'all look at this as entertainment, but it's not entertainment, man. I'm trying to teach people something. I try to teach people things all the time. If we talk about Nakia, and you can look her up at the Metro Mall, and unfortunately, she's still in prison for that vehicular homicide. But every so often I send her some money, and every so often I talk to her in the hopes that she, to add to her perspective, to see how she's doing, to add to her perspective, and maybe to help prepare her, for when she eventually gets out, so that she can do better. right? I ain't trying to chastise her or tear her down. None of that nonsense. Uh, I wanted to do better. That's why I would send messages to Fred. That's why I would send messages to Pink. Pink blocked me. That's why I sent messages to Krishana. That's why I sent some stuff to Tanisha at one time when I talked to her at one time. She don't really want to talk to nobody from the Metro Mall. She's in a good place right now, and that just brings her. She just don't want that energy. Uh, and somebody said I was a stalker, but I think Rick said I was a stalker once, but he said you stalk everybody, and to some extent, if I find them, if I get bored one day and I'm looking for them, and I find them, I just see how they're doing because I don't want anybody to fail. Uh, so I don't know. Stop telling me the shit I can do and I can't do. And this shit ain't for your entertainment, and I don't really give a fuck what you want. I do what I want to do. You can watch it or not. All that other shit you talking is shit you talking. Every time I put up a new video, I lose subscribers anyway because they don't want to hear this shit. And so I think they here for the wrong reason. So I ain't got no fucking problem losing them people anyway. There you go. What else y'all talking about here? Rick is a troll. Why is there mud on my hat? That's well, you pay your rent to stay in the apartments and not on the grounds. I mean, there's not a problem. There's not a problem, then I don't think the apartment complex has a problem with it. I mean, the one I'm in right now, I mean, some guy was playing music loud enough to make the manager come out of the office, you know. And so they had a problem with that. I mean, you got to think that, apartment complexes is all about curb appeal. It needs to be appealing to somebody, uh, if they got empty apartments, it needs to be appealing for somebody, trying to get an apartment. And, most people don't want to see a lot of people just hanging out, playing loud music, smoking weed, selling drugs, using drugs. Just, it doesn't make it appealing. And so, yeah, they're just going to stop that. And they don't need that kind of chaos going on. And, whatever. I mean, if there's an event, there's an event. And that's another thing. But on an everyday basis, they're just not interested. All right. Yeah, Fred's still alive. Okay, so I'm gonna answer a few questions. I didn't make my commentary. Um, you know, I'm not a hater like everybody, tries to make me out to be. I wish this guy Leon was on here, man. I really do. Cause I really like to get into it with that guy about him thinking that, yeah, I'm a wannabe cop and I brought this shit because of this, that, and the other. And, face reality, you were what you were. And like, motherfucker, man, you don't, like, none of you bitches have anybody to lie to, man. Why the fuck I gotta lie to you? What, security don't do the shit that I done, man. They don't do the shit that I done. And the ones who try to do the shit that I done and don't know anything, well, man, they just get all kinds of fucked up. And I'm fine. I still got a positive cash flow right now. I'm like $5,000 down for the year. It's not good. But anyway. Okay. Your favorite quotes. All right. Darren, please stop cussing and scaring me. Anybody got any relevant questions about anything before I just stop doing this? Because I really didn't plan this out. I mean, this, stuff is just aggravating me when I read these commentaries. So the new videos from Metro Detroit, some drunk and disorderly, some video about, why you once you see this video, you'll understand why you should never be this drunk. Um, and unfortunately, this person was a chronic alcoholic. Uh, Man, she was young too. She was like in her 20s. Man, man, that's just horrible. If somebody would be that drunk on a consistent basis. I mean, like, what transpired in her life to that child needed some help. Um, so yeah, there's going to be those videos coming out. Because I didn't spend that much time there. I think I was there only like 2.5 months, and I only worked 2 or 3 days out the week when I was there, and we weren't there. I think we were there maybe 8 hours out of a day, and you sometimes you come in the day, sometimes you come in the night. Most of the time I was there overnight, so most of the times wasn't nothing really going on. So okay. Uh, where's Deborah at? I don't know. I've seen her Facebook page. I'm not sure where she at, but I assume she's in Atlanta somewhere. If I could be a woman for a day, I don't even think about such shit. That's kind of gay. Um, a pocket pistol is my. She carry a pocket pistol. Do I plan on doing any security techniques on YouTube? I tell security, listen, when you talk to a person, especially if you're dealing with the same people over the period of time, this is good for apartment security. What you want to do is you want to listen for inconsistencies. That's what you want to listen for. How consistent is this person, or how inconsistent is this person? How consistent is what people are telling you about one area of the property? Like there's some security footage um, that I had where I told some guy I build cases. I got some grief for that. Uh, um, but I was told by like every security officer that worked there that particular corner was a drug hotspot, and so now there wasn't a no general no loitering policy on that property. Uh, Not that I remember. Uh, but I would specifically try kind of like find out who people were on that property after a certain given time. Why are you sitting here? Um, do you live here? Why are you sitting here? Uh, and then I'm looking to see how long they're sitting. Anybody come into that car? Uh, is it uh, if every time I talk to them, are they consistent in their answers, or are they inconsistent? And so I'm trying to figure out who and who they are, if I don't already know who they are, because they don't have to tell me. But if they tell me they don't live there, then I can ask them to leave. Now, in Michigan, I can't force them off the property. I don't have the power to trespass them in Michigan. In Georgia I could have done that, but in Michigan, I would have to call the police because I can't force them off the damn property. Not a thing you could do in Michigan. Um, but then, yeah, that's what I would do. That's why I got in that argument with that girl. So, I told her, and I'm gonna figure out how to use this LumaFusion software, and I'll just narrate the videos, um, so I can stop doing this shit right here. So you can see the actual video, and then you can see the narration, uh, and then give you a proper understanding. She didn't buck up until her friends told me, she didn't have to do all this X, Y, and Z, and that's when she became a problem, and other people became a problem. You know, That's why I don't like, people calling me security, because they just assume that you can't do anything. And sometimes I would just do things. So, but in Michigan, there's not a lot you can do, um, except write up the report, except surveil, except collect evidence. And if I'm telling you anything, if I come up to your car and say, hey man, this is what I saw. It looked like you were selling drugs to me. And that's your heads up. I'm notifying you. I'm giving you a notice. I'm letting you know that I'm kind of watching. If you're not doing anything, uh, but if you are, then hopefully you will stop. I'm not really trying to put you in jail. I'm trying to get you to stop. And then if you don't stop, and after a while, after I've told you a few times, then no, dude, then I will start to build a case against you. I will start to collect evidence, license plates, uh, other tools that I have that you don't really know about, you know, cameras that you don't know about, the ability to take pictures from a distance away you don't know nothing about, all kinds of shit because I invest money into my tools, and then I'll get you the fuck up out of there, you know. So if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, it may take me a while, but I'll get you the fuck up out of there. Um, so I don't know. I don't know. No, I'm not on the toilet, you ass. The fuck? I'm in a director's chair. A low-paid security guard. Hmm. But I'm not doing security anymore, and not like that anyway. Um, so I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But it don't make. Let me ask you, what Jeff Samuels? Let me ask you this. Uh, what difference does it make what you get paid to do what you do? Right? You agreed to do a thing, so you should just do a thing because you agreed to do it. Now, if you agreed to do it for too little, that's on you, right? Or maybe that's just what the job pays, and that's just what the job pays. But you agreed to do a thing, so you should do it. And the money that you get paid to do it shouldn't have any effect on what you agreed to do. You agreed to do it, so just do it. And if you don't think you get enough to do it, then you probably shouldn't do it at all. So the problem really isn't me and what I get paid or what I got paid to do what I do. The problem is really your perspective, right? Because you think I'm doing too much or I did too much for what I'm getting paid. If I thought I was doing too much for what I was getting paid, dude, I'm not going to do it. I mean, I'm serious too. So, you can put that on pause, dog. You probably need to be more of a no, dude, I'm not. People have approached me, and I've talked to celebrities, and I talked to people who do personal security, and I told them I wasn't qualified to do it because I wasn't qualified to do it. There were other people that were better qualified to do it, and I wasn't that person. Apartment security, am I qualified to do it? Yes, I'm very qualified to do it. Retail security, am I qualified to do it? Is it a hood spot? Yes. Is it regular retail? Eh, probably not the environment for me, right? Uh, but I'm best in apartments. That semi law enforcement on patrol apartment security. I'm probably one of the people that you want there, especially if it's a little hood, if it's a little rowdy, uh, and you just want someone to be able to slow that thing down. Then yeah, I'm probably your guy. But I'm 10 years older now than I was then, so I'm probably not your guy. In fact, I'm not your guy because I'm not going to do it. Um, so all you people ever going to see is stuff I may run across or stuff that I've done in the past. Hell, I even got some videos with Ohio State trooper really trying to just do all kinds of. He was young, boy. He didn't know nothing. He really didn't know nothing. When I was trucking, when I was driving the truck, I mean, find that video. No, dude, I didn't blow anything. That's what you wanted. I never wanted to be security, so I don't. No one's approached me for a movie deal. No, I take that back. I take that back. One guy once talked to me about doing something with HBO, making using footage from my channel and somehow making a documentary and giving it to HBO. I told him no. I told him no. So, what do you mean I'm always giving career advice and I can't get ahead? Listen, I don't dude, I can tell you right now, uh, if you know Kevin Samuels at all, uh, I made in the last, even if we go back to 2019 and we could skip over the pandemic because nobody really made money during the pandemic. Dude, I've done the best I ever have in my life financially, and not by a little bit. You know, so we'll take it, and I'll just give you a metric, and then I'll leave it alone because I'm not gonna give any actual numbers. So when I was at the Metro Mall, I had a Mini Cooper, a 2002 Mini Cooper, and, up until the time they gave me that money, that car needed an engine. They gave me that money, I put an engine in. So in 2013, I had one Mini Cooper, one. In 2023, I got four of them, and a van. One of the Mini Coopers needs an engine. I'm about to get rid of it, right? So I got three Mini Coopers and a van. And so that's all I can tell you. And I brought two of those Mini Coopers last year, and I paid cash for them. And I'll let that sit with you, and you can talk about career advice and all the rest of that crap. And you're saying I can't make it ahead. I'm doing all right. I'm $5,000 down for the year, but I mean I ain't got no control over that. But stop talking shit to me, and you can't bait me into telling you anything. But like every vehicle I own now, I brought cash. I brought my van, cash. I brought my Mini Coopers, cash. I couldn't have done that in 2012. So, yeah, I don't know what the fuck you talking about. That's why you bitches always talking shit and don't know shit. No, I'm not rich. Unless you got $250,000 in the bank, I still say you're poor. You could have $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 in the bank. And in America, I'm going to say you poor. You just not poor ass. But no, I'm not rich. I'm nowhere close to rich. I ain't got enough money in the bank. I ain't got enough money in the bank. Never mind $100,000. I wish I had $100,000 in the bank. No, I'm not rich. I'm just not saying why this guy is saying I can't get ahead. I'm doing better since 2019 than I ever done in my entire fucking life. So I don't know what you're talking about. uh, the the content is monetized. Whether or not you watch it and they run a commercial, I don't know, but I don't run stuff in the middle of the video. You either see it at the beginning of the video or at the end of the video, but I won't run anything in the middle of the video. I know a lot of content creators do that, but I'm not a content creator, right? And this channel wasn't put up here to make money. I keep telling you people that. Do I make a buck off of it? Sure, right? But it wasn't meant for that. And so, and I, watch the video. I don't want the video disrupted by some fucking ad. I don't like, when I watch YouTube videos and they do that shit, I hate that shit. So I won't do it. And like I said, the channel's not to make money. So it does make a buck, but that wasn't the purpose of it. So, I'm not going to do it. Kind of ruins the experience for the people watching. So what do I want my channel to be? Man, that is a good question. I mean, right now it's just an historical document. This is some stuff that happens. I do these lives. I like to give people some information, some games, some things that I'm learning now. Because change is a evolution and not a revolution. And I've been working on my mindset for the last 10 years. And sometimes I fall into like what I call those old ways of thinking that won't be beneficial. But people like Jordan Peterson and Neil deGrasse Tyson and 50 Cent and Ice-T and some people I don't even know who they are, have kind of added to my perspective, and I'm trying to incorporate what they say into my thinking so that I don't respond and react the way that I used to. So I tell you something I told Nakia when I was talking to her on the phone. I'm like, listen, that ghetto confrontation stuff, that plays well in the hood, but that's all that's the only place that it plays. You can't blow up because something didn't go your way or you're upset. You just can't go like boom like a grenade. I mean, that's not going to work. I mean, it's you're going to have to learn how to handle that kind of thing differently. And that's just something 50 Cent said, talking about contracts in the music, that those people don't do confrontation. They'll rob you the same, but they'll just slide the contract across and rob you that way. They don't do confrontation. So one of the things that I've always been able to do is expand the thought. And so when you start to apply it to other areas, you know what? A lot of people don't do confrontation. They don't do it. Millionaires will say you get cheated, and I thought, more recently, well, we're just gonna see how that work out, and then maybe I'll say something else differently. But yeah, there's some things that I wanted to do that somebody didn't give me permission to do, because I wasn't willing, because I'm not I'm not willing. I'm just not willing, and I just don't want to get into that. Um, but yeah, ghetto confrontation is you can't do that. I would tell the kid, you get out of prison, you can't really go back to the same areas. But if you got to go back in the same areas, you're just passing through because this is not your future. You're going through this now. And there's other people that you need to keep away from you, right? If they're not talking about anything, you don't have to front them off. You just tell them, okay, that's cool. And then, just kind of politely, excuse yourself. And then you ain't got to talk about them or talk shit about them. No, you ain't got to engage in none of that gossip. Honey, you're not going to be here. You're moving through. This is not your future. And I would, I told Nakia, like, listen, when you get out of prison, understand that you've been in prison for a long time and that there's a job that you can get. Let's say she can get a job at Amazon. She might not be able to. I don't know. I know they say, Charleston White said if you go to Texas, they actually hire felons. They train felons. They hire felons because they get a tax credit, whatever. So, and I'm like, do you know that you'll be in the same financial position as someone that's not been in prison for 10 years? Or 8 years, or however long she ends up, before she gets out, you'll be in the exact same financial position that they're in. That you're you're this age, you're still an attractive woman, you don't have any kids, uh, like, this was a bad thing that happened to you, but if you're able to change your mindset while you're in there, and Charleston White kind of said, you need to go to prison for 10 years, that would change your mindset. Um, that, even though you had to serve this time, uh, that you're in the same position as these people. And like I said, you're moving through. And when I'm talking to her, I'm trying to tell her that you're moving through. Do not engage. Do not engage. You're moving through, and it's temporary. You're only going to be there temporarily, because I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to talk to you so you can move through that situation and get on to the next thing that you want to go to. And that the time to start that work is not when you get out, but the time to start that work is when you're in there. Your freedom, you're working for you. People want to get out of jail, but getting out of jail should not be the goal. I mean, you're literally maybe 100 yards from freedom. You walk through the gate, you walk through the yard, uh, or I don't know. I don't know how state prisons. I've been to state prisons, but um, I've been to county jails. But basically, you walk out the front door and you're free. But you don't. Being free is not the same as being successful. Freedom, not being behind bars is just the beginning, right? But you were working on your success while you were working on your mindset. You were working on your plan. You were working. People were giving you information. The kid wanted to be a certified nursing assistant. She was talking about that, and I'm like, okay, but they don't really make enough money. But if that's what you want to do, okay, let me go online. Okay, so there's a program at Emory University that you could go to, right? There's traveling CNAs, and they can make some money. And then you build up your skill set, and you can do that, and then you can, you want to help out your mother, and you want to do this, you want to do that, but you got to take care of yourself first. You got to put yourself in position so you can do all those things. And, so you just come out the door, you do whatever time on probation, if you get out early, that you got to do. Can you go someplace else on probation? And there's just things that kind of need to happen. But you got to get around people who don't tell you that you can't do a thing. You got to be around people who can tell you how to do a thing. How do you get from here to there? Oh, you should just go to school. Okay, well, go to school. How do I study? How do I meet the right people to get this position? Where do I find these people to help get me into this position, that have this kind of influence, that have this, that can do that? Where are the people to help me navigate the road? Not people who tell me you can't be a CNA, and that's all, because I never told the kid that she couldn't be anything. I'm just trying to expand her thoughts, and I'm trying to get her to fill out, and not make these general statements. Well, let's fill it out. How do you do this? Okay, you want to do this. Well, what are the steps you're taking to do that? And, I'm going to stay away. I'm going to be positive and stay away from negative people. That's not enough. That's not enough. So that's too general a statement. Well, I'm going to go to school and I'm going to do this. If I come across this kind of person, I'm avoid them. I'm going to seek out this particular type of person in this kind of field, and then I want to be around people who can tell me how to do a thing, and not tell me that I can't do a thing, or just suck up my time, or people who have bad habits that will lead me back down the path, to nowhere. There's all kinds of things, man. You can't talk to people about business if all they ever been is a worker, and they're not thinking about going into business, and they ain't got no plans, and they ain't really working toward that goal. And so, these are type of things that I kind of do, and I send messages to people all the time. And I'm rambling. I apologize. I've been answered your question. Uh, No, I haven't worked at a yacht club. Yeah, I guess there's dark skinned blacks and light skinned blacks. Y'all people not really paying attention. I was a crash dummy for the Asians, huh? Huh? Hell, man, you know, you guys talk to each other in the comments section. I mean, shit, these lives are more for you talking. No, my eyes don't hurt, dog. I mean, I just don't like to look at myself in the camera, and I'm thinking. No, I'm not drinking. Throwing my own pills. Uh, no, I didn't want. I never wanted to be an anesthesiologist. No. I mean, when I was in college, I wanted to work for the record labels. I wanted to be in the music industry. Maybe radio. I'm the perfect example of a person who kind of didn't have a plan. I mean, after college, I didn't have a plan, and I didn't graduate from college. I only did like 2 years. Um, and I wanted to work in the music industry, and I had a chance to work for Tommy Boy Music, but I couldn't find a place to stay in New York City, and they were going to make me uh, East Coast. Uh, it was an internship, but East Coast. Man, what was that position? I can't remember. I can't. It had something to do with distribution and marketing and promotion. East Coast manager of marketing. It was just an internship though, um, and I couldn't find a place to stay in New York City, right? And it wasn't a paid position. It was just an internship. So, yeah, Tommy Boy Music. Queen Latifah, Naughty by Nature, De La Soul. If if you wanted to know who the artists that were on that label, Information Society, Stetsasonic. Those are the big names that I kind of remember just offhand. But there's some other people there. Um, what's this? Yeah, Stetsasonic. What am I saying? What's this? Stetsasonic on Tommy Boy. Um, so, and after that, I didn't have a plan. So people don't plan to fail; they just fail to plan. And I didn't have a plan, and I didn't take control of life. Life took control of me because I never wanted to work in the security field or the law enforcement field. But somehow I ended up as a semi law enforcement person, and so it's not what I wanted to do. And now with the YouTube thing, I can't really tell you. I can't really tell you. I'm a secure courier, sir. I'm a secure courier. Why do you wear so much gear to be security? Well, you're armed security. So why wouldn't you, like in the case of Detroit, why wouldn't I wear all that stuff? Why wouldn't I have a gun, a lethal weapon, because you're armed security? But since you have a lethal weapon, you should have a less than lethal weapon. That'd be a taser or OC spray. In the case of taser now, they say less lethal and not less than lethal. So you got OC spray, taser, because you should have some alternative to using a deadly weapon. A baton, less lethal. Again, alternative to having to use a deadly weapon, because if all you have is a gun, then all you can use is a gun. Uh, uh, you should have handcuffs in case you really do have to restrain someone and take someone into custody. It's like last thing you should be doing is handcuffing people. But I brought really good equipment. I brought an Aspeton and not some knockoff maker. Safari Land holster. After I got that 20 grand, I went out and brought a Safari Land holster instead of just having my Uncle Mike's. Um, I had asp cuffs. I had the right, you don't think of having like pants as being a part of your equipment, but having the right pants on with the with the with pockets inside your parachute pockets on your pants, a knife pocket, and various different other pockets and summer weight. No, that's equipment. The right shirt, that you can keep documents in this pocket. Damn thing zips up instead of buttons up. It's summer weight. No, that's all equipment. Uh, and and it makes a better presentation. But hell, half the time when I was at the Metro Mall, I would have to, after I stopped working for the security company and I got the management contract, I would wear jeans and a shirt, and even the polo shirt with the pins on the pocket, uh, uh, the sunglass holder or the mic holder here or here for the radio. I didn't have a radio, but the pin pockets, and then the fact that the shirt didn't have a seam right here that I forget what they call it, but it was sewed around. So, the shirt would come apart here at the seams and you have a big hole in your shirt. Dude, all this stuff is important. And it's all durable and it's all been proven and it's all long lasting. And that's why you spend the money. You spend the money on the $20 polo. I spent $50 on the polo. Next year or even that year, your polo's got a hole right here. Mine doesn't, and I'm wearing it for the next 5 years. But I spent $50, so that's literally $10 a year, and you're buying one every year, not that you're running around with a hole. And so, of the same 5 years, you done brought 5 shirts for $100. I brought one for 50, and hell, it could last me 10 years. You buy the leather belt with the right keepers on it. Although if you want to buy nylon, you can, because that's what I started off on. But the leather makes a better presentation. The level 3 Safari Land holster, the right flashlight so that you can see. So it's an effective flashlight, and I can put it. And you buy the Surefire V25 holster so you can put the damn thing in there and it's secure, right? And you buy the right holster for the baton so it's secure. You buy the right cuffs, because if you have to put the cuffs on somebody, they're right, and you got keys on both sides. That's why you buy the asp cuffs, and maybe not the Smith & Wessons that I started off with, but the Smith & Wessons are good. All the APD, damn near all APD got Smith & Wessons, but I didn't buy the $10 knockoff cuffs, right? You buy good equipment, and it should last you for freaking ever, especially since you're not using it that much. Me and your friends, my friends' agents are trying to do. You're trying to do what? What do you mean do? So what, you want to bring me someplace, and we're just gonna do? We're gonna do security? You got to explain to me what you want to do. Would I work at a yacht club today? And what's good money? What's good money? Because some people seem to think that $25 an hour is good money, but $25 an hour is like $15 an hour in 2003. And that's not good money. Yeah, listen, there's certain jobs I wouldn't take and certain things I wouldn't do because it may be a setup. Am I interested in working at a yacht club today? Where's the yacht club, sir? So you want me to do security in California? I would doubt that you could do the same kind of security work that I did in Georgia and California. I would doubt it. I would doubt it. The law, just the laws are different. But then you'd have to pay me a lot. I mean a lot. You would have to pay me over 6 figures to do security work in California, because it's going to be a lot more dangerous, uh, especially if you're doing something like apartment security. It's going to be a lot more dangerous, and I'm going to have all kinds of tools. I mean, I'm going to have drones. I'm going to have some kind of automation. I got a level 4 plate carrier, but I'm going to need a bigger plate carrier. Uh, oh man, California, man, it's not a place to play. Not a place to play around. You got to be dead set. And then I'm just going, you're going to have to sit around and figure out, like people think you can just come to a place and do a thing. You have to actually come to a place and figure out what's normal for this area, what's going on, who's who, what's what, uh, who's semi-dangerous, who's really dangerous, and who's not dangerous at all. And then you're gonna have to treat them all the damn same. You have to, you can't punk off the guy who ain't dangerous if you're not gonna punk off the guy who's really dangerous. You're gonna have to treat them all the same. Uh, and then, I mean, how many gang members are there in LA? Like 15,000 gang members in LA? Man, I don't know the culture out there. I don't know the lingo out there. Um, and to really be effective, I would have to probably be in LA 3 years before I did anything, because I have to understand the area. And by then I would be like, what, 58 years of age? So, okay. You think about 1,000 per episode. That's what are my pronouns? I think Mister. No, not 6 figures per episode, like 6 figures a year. Like you want me to come out in LA and and shit. What is 6 figures enough to even live in? Can you not have a roommate in LA if you make $100,000 a year? You think I'm gonna live in the hood in LA? How are you gonna get me a pistol permit in California? Because I need a pistol permit in California. Because I'm gonna carry. It's definitely gonna be a pistol on my hip, a taser. I'm definitely gonna have an AR-15. Oh yeah. I'm definitely gonna have a shotgun. Oh yeah. You're not telling me what kind of security you want me to do anyway. Is Fruit setting me up? I'm not really rambling. I'm talking to this guy in my in this comment section. He's asking me questions. I would do security. I don't know. You got to pay me. Now you have to pay me. Would I do security in Baltimore? Sure, but you have to do somebody. You have to operate according to. Hey, black dude, dude, you're just trolling. Ain't nobody paying you any attention anymore. Where do you want me to do security in LA? No, this channel's not about money, but if you want me to do security, yeah, it is about money. It's definitely about money. Where would you want me to do security? What is this? I mean, you should probably hit me up on Instagram and the DMs, and we could maybe hash it out then. Yeah, you trolling. Damn Skippy, you trolling. you know. No, okay, so here's Dr. Green Thumb saying that most people don't, because their job is to observe and report. Yeah, but my job wasn't to observe and report. That's not what I was doing. Uh, yeah, Dr. Green Thumb, like, you say stuff like you can't go touching people because you can get charged with assault, but, where are we doing security at? What state are we doing? What state are we doing it in? What abilities have been granted to us by not only the security company, because that's who you actually work for, but what has the property given you, and then what do state laws say that you can do? In Georgia, at the time, state laws said I could do a lot of stuff. I could terminate your trespass, dude. Like, before you start talking shit to me, you should probably read the comments of the videos that you think I done wrong, because maybe you're new to this. Uh, but a lot of these questions have already been answered. In the comment section. All you gotta do is read the comment section. You'll see me. I'll be telling you about 16.3-24 and 16-3-24.2. Mr. Green Thumb. It says I can terminate your trespass with physical force, and then 16.3-24.2 holds me immune from prosecution because it's not assault, right? And assault is like me telling you to fuck off. Battery is actually me putting your hands on you. So right now you don't legally even understand what the fuck you're talking about. Language is very important when it comes to the law, and you're using the wrong damn language. So you should probably just stop commenting because you don't know a goddamn thing. But JJW, what you would have to do uh uh is Darren Long GRSE in Instagram. Just look up Darren Long GRSE or GRSE Darren Long. I'm gonna come up. That's the link. Um, Mr. Santiago Enriquez, um, probably more than what you would want to spend. I mean, if some people here are working in the security field, no, it's not pre-recorded, CJ. Um, so I find it interesting that except for the entertainment value on Venice Beach, man, I don't even know what the laws in California are, but I bet you they're super restrictive. And there's no way I'm going. I'm telling you the requirements. Okay, Venice Beach, nope, still pistol. I'm not. You know what? I won't do security without a weapon. I'm just like I'm not even interested. I didn't destroy the mall, Mr. Green Thumb. Mall existed 2 years after I left there, so I don't know. I don't know. Stop talking. I don't know. Where is it at, Mr. Enrique? What state? And what is it that you want me to do? Is it retail security? Uh, is it apartment security? Uh, what is it that you want me to do? Is the mall closed? Yes, Russell, the mall is closed. I got paid. I got paid. I'm still getting paid. Because I'm not interested in running a security company. That's why I won't do it. Is it a ghost town? I don't know, dog. I mean, I have no reason to go to downtown Atlanta, so I don't go. Fred is not dead. So I know some people. People have told me they do use my videos in training, and they mostly use like, you can't do this. Like, this is a thing that you shouldn't do. You can't do this. This guy is wrong. This guy is that. This guy is, if I was there, I would tell them no. I mean, whether or not I did it the way you think I should do it, that's another question. But was I legally wrong with what I did? No, I wasn't. I wasn't. But you got arrested, but I didn't get convicted. Nothing. So what the fuck are you talking about? It's a political arrest. Y'all should stop talking, right? You don't want your security to do what I did, because there's a lot of potential liability in what I did. And I would say, yeah, it's true. It's a lot of potential liability to do what I did. And if you don't know what I know and you're not who I am, then yeah, you probably shouldn't do it. Because you got to know what I know, and you're definitely not teaching your staff the things that I know. So I've lost jobs because of the things that I know. Somebody tried to get me to do something at apartment security. I was interviewing for a job, and they were talking about the no loitering policy and putting people back in their apartments. And I told them, you can't do that. I said, that's policy. I mean, I can't enforce policy. I can tell them to go back into the apartment. I can talk to them about it for a minute, but ultimately, can I force them to go back into it? No, I can't. Because it's a policy, it's not a law. Curfew. DeKalb County, Georgia has a curfew. I can't enforce the curfew. It's a city ordinance or a county ordinance. It's not a law. And so there's no ability for me to enforce that. And then sometimes, even if you do have the ability to enforce this law, do you want to take on the liability if it all goes wrong? Like, for an example, like T-Mobile. Some T-Mobile stores have security in their stores. Security has been directed not to stop any retail theft at all. You can tell them to stop, don't do it. But if they snatch the phone and try to run out the door or running out the door, security is not to stop them. How do I know this? Because I did it. And they told me not to do it. And one of the reasons why they tell you not to stop them, it's a $1,000 phone. But if something happens to that guy, it's not worth the $1 million lawsuit. And so that's why corporate America doesn't want to do that. Apartment security is something completely different. And so, that apartment complex may not feel that way about that thing. They say, hey man, go take care of this. We need to calm this down. Go do this. Go do that. Go do this. And if it's within the law and I can do it, I'll do it. And if it's not, I won't. And you just can't enforce policy. So you can just tell people what the policy is, and if they say fuck you, kick rocks, then kick rocks and write it up and give it to management, because management's the one with all the power anyway, and they can just terminate your lease for a violation of the contract. And then they can start the eviction process for a simple possession. They want you out the property. And so, poof, like a magic trick, you gone. You kick rocks and go find another place to live. See you. That's how that works. No, I'm not rambling again. I'm telling you how something works, and you're telling me that I'm rambling. I'm just telling you how this shit works. And y'all giving me all this kind of bullshit ass grief, you fucking people. But I do like you though. I do like you. I do get a kick out of you people sometimes. But I'm telling you how the industry works. I mean, like this guy, this guy said he wanted me to come out to Venice Beach. They want to pay me $1,000 episode. They just want the entertainment value. So, he's going to have to explain that to me, right? But what does California law give me the ability to do on Venice Beach? Is Venice Beach owned by a private company or is it owned by the state? Okay. And so what is the state saying? If it's what are either one of these entities saying that I can do on this property, and what does the law say I can do on the property? What and that by statute, and then is there any case law that says that I can do X, Y, and Z, or I can't do X, Y, and Z? You know, that's state case law. Then you want to look at the appeals, the federal appeals court, whatever district or circuit appeals court it is, federal district circuit appeals court that covers that area. Is there any case law there that tells you what you can and cannot do? Um, and that's kind of how you approach these things. If you're a person who does things, and I'm a person who does things, so you know, I mean I'm telling you how to do the damn job. I'm telling you how to approach these things. If this is something that you want to do, or this is how I did it, and that's how come you have a hard time telling me what I can and what I cannot do, because I'm telling you what I've done. I looked at statutes, I look at case law, I look at federal case law, and everybody's telling me what I can do and what I can't do, right? Because my opinion means nothing. They got people who get paid for the opinion. It's called the appellate court. And, you know, they got the final say as long as that case law is published. So, and you can't never go wrong when you using their thought process. So, it makes it very hard to prosecute. So, that's why y'all can't never tell me shit. Do I want to dust them off? What are you talking about, Black Dude? I do follow my own advice on life. I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, but you know, I tell you what, like people in their 20s and their early 30s still want to conquer the world. I'm in my 50s, man, and like, dude, you know, I'm just trying to make it to the end. I'm done with conquering life. You know, let's just make it to the end, right? With no problems, very few problems. I don't need the problems. We can make it to the end, and I'll be all right, man. I'll be all right. I just make it to the end. I'm not trying to. I'm not in the world dominance anymore. I'm not, you know, trying to figure out pick a career or none of that shit. You know, I'm a secure career, and if it pays the bills and it does what I needed to do, then fine, we can do that. If it can't do that, then we can do something different, right? YouTube would be a great thing, but I don't know if it's gonna be able to do what I needed to do, because I haven't figured out what I wanted to do in it yet. So I don't even worry about it. But yeah, I leave that conquer the world to the other people, and people trying to have a career to the people who want to have that shit. That's just not me right now. That can be you. It's not me. Yeah, to the end, death. Yeah, that's the end, buddy. I don't need a manager. Like, you got plans. Like, I don't know what kind of plans you got. I don't have any plans to be great or famous. Like, listen, history will determine everything about me. And I'm not worried about it. I don't know. That wasn't my gift. I know, Patsy. I know. I know. Um, that wasn't my gift to the world. No, I made videos. I didn't want to be famous. I mean, well, you know what? In my life, I always wanted to be famous, but I thought being famous was, you know, appearing on the Johnny Carson show. Um, But I didn't try to be famous off of this. I've said many times, I put this up to dissuade those people from doing stupid stuff in that area. And then, after the videos broke and the narrative was wrong and people were talking shit about these people, like, I put up other videos but being famous had nothing to do with it. And I'm not famous. I have some notoriety. Michael Jackson is famous. Madonna's famous. Michael Jordan is famous. Shaquille O'Neal is famous. Kobe Bryant is famous. I just got some notoriety. I am not famous. Hood fame. Man, you can't never beat death. No, I'm answering your question, stupid. I'm not rambling again. Yeah, Kobe's dead, right? You still know who he is, though, right? You can still see short reels of him talking on Instagram or YouTube, or people still talk about his name, right? Uh, you could say Kobe Bryant in foreign countries, they might know who he is. You could say Michael Jackson in foreign countries. That man's been dead for I don't know how many years now. They know who he is. You could say Madonna in foreign countries. They know who she is. That's famous. Shit, I can walk around this city that I'm in right now and ask people if they know who I am. And I don't know who you are. Do you know Darren Long? I ain't never heard of that fool. So I'm not famous. I don't know. Kennifer was never on drugs. So, the fact that you say that she was on drugs, Kennifer was never on drugs. Nike's never going to name a sneaker after me. I'm not, come on now. So questions. Okay, so Exhumed Corp 666. I mean, okay, you need to be more specific. Are you talking about Georgia? Are you talking about Michigan? Because in Georgia, I started off as security at the Metro Ball, and they did not give me any direction at all whatsoever. I told them about what was going on there, and oddly enough, they were the headquarters were located in Southfield, Michigan, which is a suburb of Detroit. So we'll just say Metro Detroit. Um, they didn't give me any direction at all. I didn't have to write any reports at all, though. No daily reports, no incident reports, nothing. And I would tell them, like, listen, uh, and I'm going to use the exact language that I use with them. Like, dude, it's not a question if, it's when we bump. We got some problems here because, like, dude, I mean, I'm not going to back down. We going to bump. Like, so what do you need me to do? I mean, they weren't even they weren't interested at all. It was just a source of income to them. They were more interested in me wearing stuff that said security. And I think that's because the cops got on them about that. Um, than they were with anything else. And so on April 10th, 2012, I stopped being security and I signed a management contract, and the security company was gone, and I just signed a management contract. And so then all the use of force policies and everything else, those were all mine. And I only had two directives. At the end of the investigation, I go home. And if I don't happen to go home, uh, I don't go to prison. So those were my only two policies that I had, like for use of force or anything else that I'd done. Stay within the law. At the end of the investigation, you go home. But if you don't go home and they arrest you, you don't go to prison. And guess what? Most of the time I went home, and the one time I got arrested, I didn't go to prison. I wrote my motion for my immunity, and me and the prosecutor came to an agreement because I wasn't going to prison, And trust me, I won. By every metric, I won. Because I didn't do anything illegal. But there's your answer. And if you're gonna ask me a question, you should be like Exhumed Corp 666. I mean, just ask me questions like that. But I didn't disrespect his wife. He felt like I disrespected his wife, Mr. David Harrow. I didn't disrespect his wife. So his wife worked at a parking lot at Underground Atlanta. So it's a public parking lot, right? And so she's working at the booth, right? Taking money so you can get out of the parking ramp, right? Well, he was there and he was talking to her, and she was paying attention to him, and she wasn't paying attention to me because I was trying to pay her and leave. And I told her that instead of paying attention to him, you should pay attention to me. Well, apparently, and when I saw him the next day, okay, he had a problem with that, right? But I didn't say I didn't disrespect his wife. In fact, his wife never felt like I disrespected her. So he felt disrespected. She didn't feel disrespected. So all that's on him, right? And he was just being a little drunk and emotional and all the rest of that shit. But so no, there you go, David. I didn't disrespect him, and yeah, I think we talked after that, even after that argument later that day, and he kind of gained some perspective, and well, we wouldn't talk like we did before. He wasn't actually hostile anymore. Any tips on how to garner respect? So from those, so 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 Andy, to respect is to hold someone in high regard, someone or something in high regard. So you're not looking for respect. You're looking for people to be respectful, conduct themselves in a more courteous manner. And for that, I don't know what you can do, because if people are going to be discourteous, they're going to be discourteous, but you don't have to meet that energy with the same energy. And I guess if you're in the security field, I mean, all depending on what your company policies are, you just may have to be cordial anyway. And if you can't be cordial by the policy that they're laying down, then I don't know whether or not you should do that job. Because I mean, I'll be honest with you, man. You start talking shit to me, I'm gonna start talking shit back. I don't give a fuck what the policies are. And if they say, well, you can't work here, well, I'm just going to be like deuces, because I probably don't need to be working here because these people are off the chain and I ain't taking that shit. And, I'm just going to lay down. You're going to act respectfully. If I'm being respectful to you, you're going to be respectful to me. You're going to talk shit to me. I'm going to talk shit to you. But at the end of the day, I'm going to win this motherfucking argument because I run this bitch and that's it. I don't know, Andy. I don't know. I hope that helped you out, Andy. Oh, I don't save women, Mr. Black Duel. I tell women, I can't save you. You're gonna have to save yourself. The most I'm gonna ever do is give you information, and anything I do beyond that is just because I want to do it for you. And so you can't really use me. I'm gonna do for you what I want to do for you, and what I don't want to do for you, I'm not gonna do for you. So you can't use me. I'm gonna do it for you anyway because I want to do it for you. And I ain't trying to save you. You have to save yourself. I can't save you. The only person that can save you is you. And that people really need to understand that. Can't nobody save you but you. I told Nakia that. Can't nobody save Nakia but Nakia. Now there's people around you that may be able to assist you, but can't nobody save Nakia except Nakia. And you know what? She took that to heart. So I think she really understands that. Um, uh, Actually used the taser, Russell. 3 times, all at the Metro Mall. Oh, dude, I ain't talking to you about no sex, man. Dr. Green Thumb. Yeah, he did. He did. And he was there in 2014, and he didn't. And this is the Mike Tasanti. He did open. He did. I mean, uh, and he objected to me coming back there in 2014. And so when I came back in 2014, he wasn't there anymore. That's why you didn't see Frank anymore. Well, I don't think she expected to get hit with the taser. And if you can't look at it real time. I think I got some pictures on Instagram where there's a picture where you say, oh, you can see in her face, oh, I fucked up. This is the point where she realized she fucked up. There's a point in that video where she realized that, oh shit, this is about to go bad. But I don't beat her up for it. Tanisha's all right. I don't know where Bobby. I don't look up. I'm a man, and I'm not really interested in men like that. I mean, I may send Fred some messages, and I don't really even check on Anthony, even though I know his Instagram page, and I may go, once in a while. I mean, it may be once a year, see if Rock is doing all right. Mostly, I see if the women are doing all right. The women I was kind of interested in, so maybe that's why they call me a stalker, right? Oh, was she all right? Well, she not doing that well. I mean, like this one chick, it's online talking about her pussy, and I'm like, you too old for that now. Stop that nonsense. You're too old for that 10 years ago, and you definitely too old for it now. So stop that nonsense. And sometimes these people like they smoke weed, and I'm like, you don't need to be posting that on social. I mean, if you smoke weed, you smoke weed, but keep that stuff. Don't need to be on social media. Don't everybody need to know that shit. You know. So and I just try to I try to give them some information, some game, some like you could buy a house here, and you can do this, and you can do that, and try to do this and work on this here, and you know but people gonna do what they gonna do. You give it, and I don't care if they don't ever respond. Most of the time they don't ever respond. But they seen it, they read it, and they can do with the information what they want. They can follow it or don't. Same thing with Nakia. I give you some information. If you find it useful, use it. If you don't, then just let it go. It don't make no difference. I mean, it's gonna be you. But YouTube, dude, I'll probably still be putting up videos from 5 years from now because I don't like looking at this stuff. I'll be honest with you. So when I do look at this stuff, yeah, there's always videos I can go through. Okay, Jock Doug 88. What are you asking here? When you confronted that vendor for selling Wusa, and it wasn't Wusa, it was water, and took off your gun and told him to suit up. You want me to talk to you about that? I'll talk to you about that. So, no, because people, he said the only reason why you could do this job is because you have a gun. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, so here's the gun, here's the taser, here's this, here's that. Go ahead, put it on, suit up, and you go do the job. And let's see if you can do the job. If that's the only reason why I can do this job is because I had the gun, the taser, the baton, and the OC spray, and all the rest of this shit, here, you can have this shit, and then you can do the job. Because it takes more than that to do the job. That kind of stuff can keep you safe. Everybody, when they made one gun, they made another. And then they made another. And then they made 100 more, and 1,000 more, 10,000 more, and 1,000,000 more. You're not the only one out there with a gun. A gun doesn't keep you safe. It may give you a chance, but it ain't no guarantee. You know, a taser may give you a chance. It ain't no guarantee. Ain't none of that stuff a guarantee, right? There's cops that die with guns. They got a gun in their hand. They got a gun in their hip. They got shot. They're dead. They got ran over by a car. All kinds of shit. You know, guns ain't no guarantee of safety. Get that out of your fucking head. The only thing a gun can do is maybe give you a chance, right? Kind of make the playing field even. Like if you came across a Mike Tyson, you know, that I know it's a little bit of exaggeration. Goddamn, Mike Tyson, right in his prime, like 20, 21, 22, 23. Good grief. You wouldn't want to run into that motherfucker. But yeah, you know, you give you a chance for somebody like a Mike Tyson, you know, a Shaquille O'Neal, somebody, you know, way overmatched that, you know, you may have to shoot him. It just gives you a chance. There's no guarantee of success, man. Get that out of your fucking head. People think guns are guarantees. Pull out a gun, threaten somebody, you think somebody gonna stop. But somebody out there don't give two shits about that gun, right? And still will attack you with that gun. It don't make no difference, right? Oh shit, the electricity just went off. Oh, that's fucked up. Electricity just went off. Now it's coming back on. What the fuck is going on over here, man? Well, is this work? Now we doing some spooky movie shit. I didn't pay the light bill. Fuck. Oh, I hate this shit. I didn't. Well, check this out, right? Because give me a second because I got all kinds of tools. Zero. So batteries. I don't even need it because the lights came back on. Okay. The fuck, man? Now we gotta do this shit again. Nice to have tools, right? So now I gotta read the comments on this damn screen because the Wi-Fi is gone because the electricity is gone. Oh, Jesus. Working in the hood, live in the hood, that's crazy as hell. Why would you work in the hood and live in the hood? But I got these tools, right? So I don't know how long this light gonna last. Let me see. Oh, I got 16 hours with this